Good day to all. This is the second part of stages of management consulting engagement. Just like with the first part or part one, the unique format is shown, which is question and answer. So Q&A approach for the discussions. And here are our questions as shown. Let's begin. This is, by the way, just two-page discussions, and this will be very short. Number one, what are the steps involved in the solution development phase of the problem solving process? With this, we begin with looking into the solution alternatives. So we formulate these particular choices or options or alternatives for our solutions. What is clear is that there should be a sort of contingency planning that in case option A would not be working or option one, there is option B or two, option three or C, and so on and so forth. After that, we evaluate whether those solution alternatives or solutions are going to be workable or doable or feasible for the company. Then the choice of preferred solution alternative should be generated or should also be provided or formulated at the end after evaluating the particular solution generated. Then after the chosen alternative, then we do the detailed development. So these are normally the steps in developing the solutions, whatever they will be. After that, we look into the two approaches in generating alternative solutions in an environment of uncertainty. It is usual that, or it is a must, and it is a given that in the business world, there would always be risks of uncertainty, meaning to say we do not actually are sure, we are not fully aware of what risks there are, the chances of negative outcomes that can happen or could have impact to the business or organization. In generating the choices again or solutions, there are two approaches, the Scamper and the Delphi or Delphi. For Scamper, this stands for substitute, meaning to say if there would be certain options that are no longer workable, so we change or replace accordingly. Next is combine. So there are some approaches or options that can be mixed or consolidated with another or each other. Adjust if in case there would be some modifications or improvements to be done while we are doing it. Magnify is to increase the scope or span or the degree or extent of a particular solution. It's also possible that a solution has a lot of use, so we put them in various uses. Eliminate or remove any option that is no longer workable, or reverse if, for example, and actually reverse if, for example, one is being applied to this particular problem, and then for another one, we can do the opposite or reverse of that. So this is Scamper approach. For Delphi or Delphi approach, this is going to begin with brainstorming among experts. We're going to solicit their ideas and then we summarize whatever ideas that they had or have and present to each and every participant. Then each participant reviews the feedback. Consultant again polls the experts to get their responses from them and until such time that the issues and all other things will be ironed out before we are going to have the best solution then. Next, number three, what are the activities in the implementation phase of the problem-solving process? So after we have already come up with a certain solution or work plan, so we are going to establish controls over those implementation activities. So remember, if we go back to step one, we got our choice among the alternatives chosen or generated and evaluated. So if we get that particular solution from the generated and evaluated solution alternatives, so we do the detailed development. So this is the case here. We do the development of a work plan. We establish controls over implementation activities. Then also we do the selection of the personnel involved. This is a time that we will have to consider or we should consider our requirements for the needed personnel as well as how to train them because skills could not be obtained from hiring or recruitment. So we have to train our personnel to get or acquire such skills. Next is installation of needed physical facilities. It's possible that there will be certain requirements for building, technology, for information and communication facilities which are not yet given or provided, so we have to put them in place. Then development of standard or benchmark. Remember, we have to evaluate also our work, so we have to establish that, and there should be a basis for our documentation. Then we test the solution being implemented. It's possible that the solution that we have is going to need development or modification along the way because it's not perfect. Then this is now the importance of having a follow-up and evaluation of the implemented solution. Again, there could be some changes or modifications along the way. Number four, why is there a need to make an evaluation of the implemented solution? We have to check if whatever solution that we implemented, it's actually operating effectively as desired. So it's possible that the users or the client's needs would change over time, and therefore we also have to adopt the solution that we have made and further improve that. So the feedback that we get is actually called variance if we're talking about cost, whether favorable or unfavorable, right? If favorable, so we have to maintain that. If unfavorable, we have to change such or improve such or develop. Then the emphasis for the operations review, this is like the audit, will be looking into the inputs, the error rates, so that the errors should be as minimum as possible and should not go beyond our maximum tolerable rate for errors. Timeliness, because no matter how perfect our outputs are in terms of accuracy, they will be useless if they're not provided timely. Then how we utilize our outputs. Then finally, we have to identify potential improvements to the implemented system and estimates the effort required to implement those improvements. So that's the ultimate that we should get from evaluation. And this is also very true for the rationale or reason for doing a post-engagement follow-up. So as said, it's possible that initially during the first phase or run of our solutions that are implemented to our clients' operations, that there would be smooth sailing style or experience of such implementation. But later on, as we go along the way, there could be some changes and there could be some difficulties encountered. So that's the reason that we have to do the follow up even after we have already implemented. So the job of the CPA or any practitioner in mass consultancy or advisory services would not end there from the implementation or of implementation. There has to be an evaluation even and a follow-up of what really happened along the way so that we would be able to check and detect any deficiency or deficiencies of our solution, and we can modify accordingly and incorporate that to the existing or concurrent system, and so that it will be improved in the next phase or cycle. Next, what are the benefits that may be derived in conducting post-engagement evaluation and follow-up? That will be providing direction for staff training program in the MAS division. As said a while ago, certain skills may not be acquired or brought in by certain persons, even if they have the experiences. So we have to train them. It's also possible to retool them because such skills have not been used yet over time. Then this will also be the basis for evaluating the performance of staff personnel. So by the follow-up, the evaluation, how good they are, how effective and efficient they are in terms of the benchmark. Then after that will be the required resources to be used in case we have similar engagements. And overall, we have to make sure that there is a tangible evidence of quality consciousness, meaning to say that the practitioners and the management consultants should have quality as part of its mantra or part of dealing in the operations or in doing their particular jobs. It should be consistent with the other areas of CPA's practice in taxation, in audit, and all. So As said, a post-engagement follow-up will be able to detect early about the deficiencies and we can make modifications for the concurrent systems in place. Next question could be what areas should be covered in conducting an evaluation of the consultancy engagement? So we have the following items or things. We have the proposal, we have the engagement program, the work program and schedule, source data and documentation, reports, and results. So these are the areas that we have to look into the evaluation. Proposal, remember that's going to list down our objectives, our purposes, the scope of our work, even the cost in the consultancy engagement or the advisory service. So that should be evaluated as well if ever we are really able to hit that. Then the program, meaning the set of our objectives expounded further, as well as the activities. And the very specific would be the work program and schedule. So the three would be actually aligned with themselves. We should double check or we should cross check each other. Next would be where are we getting our data or data and information in terms of the consultancy engagement, and how do we keep the records or how do we keep our reports as well as the working papers, because we have to keep them just in case there would be some questions about our work. Then again, the reports that we should have, and also the results or findings that we got with respect to that specific engagement. So how do we keep again our working papers, the references, the reports for the results? Normally we keep such in writing because we cannot rely with our memories and we have so many consultancy services provided to our clients. Right. So these are the 7 important questions that we got or we have for part 2 of management consulting engagement. Hopefully you learned something from this session. Thank you very much and God bless us all.